Okay, next up, an amazing Franco-German duo, Richard Meissner and Jeanmart from Safe and Mentis. They'll be telling you all about how to build within the Gnosis Safe ecosystem for a B2B use case. And let's give them a round of applause as well. Woo!
Hey, cool. Happy to be here in my hometown, back at DappCon. Has been a while. Today on stage with me is Greg. He's the CTO from Multis, and I'm Richard, one of the co-founders of the Safe project. Yeah, and as mentioned before, today we want to talk about how you can cover B2B use cases within the Safe ecosystem. And before we come to the B2B part, let's take a look at the Safe and what we want to do, right? And so what is our goal with the Safe? Oh, yeah, that's us. So yeah, what do we want to do with the Safe, and what is our goal? And the Safe project aims to advance the transition towards smart contract accounts. So we believe very strongly that using smart contracts accounts is the primary way how we can bridge the gap between the Web 2 and Web 3 that still exists, and that we can bring the users towards the Web 3 world and better cover them. But we realized at some point that this is not something that the Safe project can do alone, and where it's just us as a core team developing some nice product, and then everybody will start using it, and then magically smart contract accounts are used by everyone. And that's also why just recently, oh yeah, it works. We decided to rebrand, right? And we wanted to really envision or showcase that we go from this, we work on a product, towards we work on an ecosystem, and that's also why we renamed from Gnosis Safe to Safe. So let's take a closer look at the Safe, right? Like the Safe allows you to do things like access management. So one of the two big teams that are working on this is the Zodiac team. They really work on access management for DAOs, where you can then have special rules how DAOs can bring their voting and their governance into the Safe. But there are also tools that allow you automation with the Safe, which is Gelato, for example, where you can schedule transaction, which is something that most of the users are used to from our Web 2 accounts that this can happen. Another feature is that you can increase your security, right? Like the Yarn team is using the guards features of the Safe to prevent sandwiching and Mu, and this is but only one use case of the guards, and you can also actually bring features such as insurance, where you can make sure that even in case that you did not catch or that you did not see an error, that your insurance should cover you. And last but not least, we have a plug-in system that allows you to improve your authentication so that even if the standards in the future evolve, that you can always plug in with the latest tools such as OpenSea or sign in with Ethereum. All this together is what we call the Safe core. So this is the core protocol, or the core of the contracts, which we actually use in our interface. So our interface is available on a couple networks. Like these are the 8 big networks that we support, and there's a couple test networks. But actually the contracts exist on quite a lot more networks, right? So we have over 20 to 30 networks by now where all of the contracts are deployed, but it's just not visible to the user. And this is one of the examples where what I mean with where we need the ecosystem to really build on top of this. Bringing this to the wider developer community is something that we aim to with the Safe protocol. So the Safe protocol should combine all the smart contracts that we have in our Safe core, interconnect them, and then bring them to the different chains, and allows us to govern bring governance to this protocol. But even when we have all the smart contract layers and have the protocol, it's still not easy to interact with all of these different parts of it, and that's where it's like services building on top of the protocol come into play, right? Like there's already very known tools that everybody, or most of the Web3 developers use, such as Infura. Infura also allows ITX, which allows transaction relaying, similar to OpenGSN. We have Polyrap and Alchemy, which give you wrappers around the core functionality so that it's easy to include into your applications. Again, also Gelato and the Graph allowing you to do better indexing and perform better automation. All of these different tools and SDKs is something that we actively want to support and push forward, and all of this is combined under our safe SDKs approach. But even now, even before we have really this full safe SDKs and where the protocol is set in place on all the networks, there's quite a lot of teams already that are building on top of the safe contracts. One of these is, for example, Snapshot, where you can use Snapshot and the tight integration with the safe that you can do off-chain voting with your community and then execute the transaction that has been decided on in the vote on-chain via the safe. And this approach is using a module developed by the Zodiac team. Another one is Utopia, which brings you payroll and like fund treasury management to your DAO system so that you also can really make sure that all of this is well regulated within your DAO. Then we have something like Staker, which brings DeFi or like aims to bring easy DeFi and staking to the user. And also there, we're using relaying and batching. The safe is at the core. Another very nice tool is Radical, which allows you to have decentralized code governance or like it's a versioning tool similar to GitHub, but in a decentralized manner where also the safe comes to use. And even in MetaMask and the institutional version, so in MMI, safe is integrated so that you can easily connect all your dApps towards your safe. Last but not least, there is also Multis, which is a tool where you can have like a credit card and you have team allowance management, which extends the functionality of the safe and really brings it or gears it towards the business needs of the different teams compared to our more traditional all-around interface. And yeah, with this introduction to the safe, I would give it up to Greg, who will give you a little bit more details on how Multis is using the safe and why.
Thanks, Richard, for presenting the amazing safe ecosystem. I just want to focus on one of the use cases we've been building over the past few years with Multis. We came to the conclusion that crypto is happening, and it will enable businesses to transact more easily, more efficiently, and more safely. But the truth is, right now, it's hard to do business with crypto. There's a clear lack of tools. I've seen entrepreneurs reconciliating hundreds of transactions, dozens of wallets with a spreadsheet. I've seen co-founders storing millions of dollars of investment on a MetaMask and sharing the seed phrase between co-founders. I also see business owners trying to open a bank account, trying to open an exchange account, trying to keep it open, and ending up basically spending their own money on behalf of the company. And this is why we decided to build Multis, a crypto treasury management solution for crypto businesses. And Multis is built on top of 3 pillars. The first one is a multi-signature wallet built with the best, the safe. So multi-signature wallet, you can enable security approval policies. Every transaction you might need 2 approvals. You might choose to want 2 approvals, 3 approvals, 10 approvals. It's up to you. You are fully in control. With Multis and the safe, you can perform payments, mass payments, smart contract interaction, like DeFi on mainnet and Polygon. On top of that, we built an accounting and reporting layer so you can visualize all of your transactions of your safe, but not only, you can also track other wallets like on Bitcoin and Ethereum and most of the layer 2 blockchains. With all of those transactions, you can categorize them. You can add attachment, receipt, put notes. You can make automated rules to auto-categorize your transaction. We also provide real-time reporting, so you can visualize your cash flow at any time. And we also provide an integration with QuickBooks. Basically, you can export your transaction in a compatible QuickBook format, so your accountant is kind of super happy. And finally, the last pillar of Multis, this is something we built, we released last week. You can now open a USD bank account with Multis and off-ramp your treasury from your safe to the USD bank account within minutes and spending directly with cards, so you can issue as many cards as you want and assign it to your teammate of your company. So basically, yeah, we build multis just to help crypto businesses to focus more on what they want to build instead of boring financial stuff. Now, I just want to focus a little bit more on why we choose to use the safe in the first place. We've been using the safe for quite a long time, so even before it was called Gnosis Safe, and even before when it was called Gnosis Multisig. So over the past few years, I do believe the safe is becoming the standard of multi-signature smart contract wallet. In terms of security, the safe is audited, formally verified, battle tested. I think there's over 50,000 safe on mainnet for over $50 billion asset under management. So it's definitely a kind of piece of software you can trust now. The second reason why we choose safe is a self-custody. So users are fully in control of their wallet. And so the smart contract wallet enables multi-signature use case, so you can define your security policy approval, but not only. You can also set up some sort of modules, so expand the safe. And in the case of multis, there's some kind of financial module we could work, like for recurring payment, automated payment, spending policies, admin key recovery, social recovery. All those kind of features could be enabled through safe modules. Next is the tooling. So the safe is fully open source, which makes it super flexible to build. You can build kind of the way you want. They also provide, as Richard mentioned, an indexer and an API, so you can keep track of the status of your safe. You can keep track of the transaction and everything. There's also an SDK in TypeScript, and maybe in some another language as well. And the last reason we decided to use the safe is meta transaction. So it just increased by 10x the UX. So for example, so the safe doesn't care about who is sending the transaction. We just need to collect the cryptographic signature of the owners, and anyone can relay the transaction on behalf of the wallet. So in our case, we're actually using Infra ITX to relay the transaction and make sure it's on-chain within 2 minutes. But we don't provide free transaction. The safe has also a refund mechanism. So every time we relay a transaction, we pay the gas fees in ETH upfront, and we use this refund mechanism to refund us in the token of the payment. So for example, we have many users, many accounts with only stable coin. They don't really care about ETH. They don't really understand what is gas. So in our case, we just send the transaction for them, and the fees just appear as USDC, depending on what token they decide to use. And I just want to finish about the future of crypto B2B with safe and multis. I think it's clear now that Ethereum is becoming the infrastructure layer for any decentralized application. And on top of that, I do believe a safe can become the money infrastructure for the Web3 economy. When you look at how traditional finance work, it just relies on complex and expensive infrastructure. And I'm thinking of payment gateway, payment processor, open banking solution, bank as a service API. All of that is extremely complex to implement. And I do believe the safe can actually replace all of this complex infrastructure to a new kind of infrastructure for the Web3 economy, and enable thousands of developers to build many kind of applications on top of it, just like we did at Multis, with the ambition to become the financial backbone for any Web3 startup and crypto startup, so they can focus more. So they can focus more on what they're building again, and less on financial stuff. So yeah, as you can see on the chart, we provide all the life cycle of your money from the revenue, checkout, subscription, DeFi, to the spending part where you can use your treasury to spend on any goods and services with crypto cards, on payroll or invoices. And so this is it. Thank you for your time. And we are open if you have any questions.
Thank you, Grégoire and Richard. Again, if someone has a question, we have our mic handlers walking around the room. Just raise your hand.
Too early for questions.
Or maybe you guys just explained too well. We understand everything.
They all have Mars and coffee. Still not awake yet.
Okay, I'm gonna still take it on early in the morning and let everyone have a 10-minute break before we come back. Thank you again for everything. I assume you'll be hanging around the building all day if suddenly someone wakes up with a question as well.
The safe has a booth, so come by, take a look. There are a lot of people that can explain you all the detail about the safe. Yeah, so visit us there.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.